Welcome to Off Balance, the podcast where faith, family, and business collide. I'm Dr. Brooks, a certified master life coach, transformational speaker, and author. Join me as we explore the journey of overcoming adversity and developing resilience. It's time for you to find your strength and reclaim balance. This is Off Balance. Welcome to Off Balance Podcast. I'm Dr. Brooks, your host, here to inspire, encourage, and empower you with practical wisdom and biblical principles. Today, we are going to talk about protecting your value, why you must be mindful about who gets access to you. So many of you know that I am a coach and I'm also an entrepreneur. And I experienced something the past couple of months that was eye-opening to me, and I wanted to share it today. So as a coach, an entrepreneur, or a leader, your time and your expertise are some of the most valuable assets that you have. They are the foundation of what you offer the world, and they deserve to be protected. And I had a lapse in judgment, and I forgot that. So I'll go into that a little later into this episode, but I just want to be real. Many of us, especially when we're just, maybe starting out, we fall into the trap of giving too much access to too many people. And what's interesting is I am not new. I have been in entrepreneurship for many, many years. I have been a coach for many years, a mentor for many years. And so I am just so in awe that I allowed myself to be available for people in the manner that I did. But I learned my lesson, and I learned it quickly. And so I can't say that it was a hard lesson, but I can say that it was a lesson learned. So in my effort to grow my community and make an impact, I granted access to people I wouldn't normally, grant access to. At first, it felt great. After all, I was doing what I was supposed to do as a leader, as a mentor, as a coach. But over time, what I realized was it wasn't working. It was essentially draining my energy, and it was devaluing my services. It drained my energy because I connected with a lot of people that were not ready to go forth with the level of coaching that I provide. They were a bunch of people that spoke about what they desired to do, but they wasn't ready to walk into doing what it was that they desired. And so it drained my energy. It literally drained me. And so quickly I realized that I had to, cut off access, and I had to really go back to the drawing board and revamp how I wanted to build my community, because giving people access to me is not the way to do it, which I thought I was doing a good service, but I was doing a disservice to myself. Now, there were a lot of people that took advantage of the opportunity, and they were able to be coached, and they were able to move forward and accomplish some things that they had on the back burner for many years. But that was maybe 10% of the population that I opened myself up to. So did I get a good return of investment? I would say that I got a good return of investment because there were some people that benefited. But if I'm looking at the return of investment by definition, absolutely not. I did not get a good return of investment. So here's what I learned from that experience and why I believe every coach, entrepreneur, or professional needs to be intentional about who they give access to. First, the hidden cost of unlimited access. When you open the door to everyone, you risk several things. You risk devaluing your expertise. What do I mean by that? When someone is allowed to access something that they typically would not have access to, or when something is too accessible, it often is perceived as less valuable. So I think what happened was when I came into that situation and I made myself accessible, it devalued what I was bringing to the table because they thought to themselves, well, if I can access it, then clearly it's not that great. That was my mistake. 2, it can cause burnout. Trying to accommodate everyone can drain your energy, and it can leave you with little time for the people who truly respect and invest in your work. And then the third thing that I learned was attracting the wrong audience. When I tell you I worked so many years on my target audience. I worked so many years on building a brand that was attracted to a certain caliber of person. And when I devalued myself, I attracted the wrong audience. I attracted people that did not honor my boundaries. I attracted people that did not appreciate my value. And I attracted people who essentially could have disrupted the vision that I have for my brand had I not identified it quickly. And so it is so important to assess the hidden costs of unlimited access. I provided tech support, I provided email support, I provided coaching. And so they had access to me however they needed to access me. And essentially, that was not a good idea. And that was not very smart from a business standpoint. And so today, I want to just let you know that protecting access matters. And why does it matter? Access is a privilege, it's not a given, right? Even in business, a lot of the times business owners feel like that they have to be accessible, and that is so not true. And so it's so important that even in business that you set some type of boundary around your availability. You have to make sure that you have times where you're just not going to be accessible. And you have to be intentional about it. You have to guard, who has access to you. And I think by doing that, you're going to preserve your value. When it comes to, being exclusive, that just reinforces the worth of your time and your expertise. You have to create a space for the right opportunities. When you say no to the wrong people, you can say yes to the right ones. So I wasted a lot of time opening my calendar up to people that didn't even respect me enough to show up. And essentially what that did was that caused me to miss out on opportunities for people that wanted my coaching services, people that wanted my consulting services. And so here I am trying to offer a service to a group of people that typically wouldn't have access to it, and it backfired. It backfired. I would also say that if you protect your access, you're going to maintain your energy. Healthy boundaries is going to keep you from spreading yourself too thin. And I know in 2025, so many people are talking about, I don't like the word boundaries. That's just discipline or lack of discipline. No, boundaries are necessary and they are definitely important. It's not a way of controlling people. It's simply a way of protecting your peace. I look at boundaries as a way of protecting your peace. And so what I had to do was I had to go back to the drawing board and I had to be intentional about access. So here are a few practical ways to protect your access while still serving your audience. The first thing that I suggest is define your boundaries. I want you to be clear about who gets your time and energy. You can consider creating tiers of access, such as those free resources that you're going to give to the general public, and then those premium, resources or content that's for your paying clients. And then I want you to implement systems, use applications, consultations, or filters just to ensure that only serious inquiries reach you. All inquiries are not serious and they should not reach you, especially if they're just going to waste your time. So implement some type of system and then communicate your value. You set the tone for how others perceive your work by confidently sharing your worth and the benefits of what you offer. I tell my clients all the time, you have to be able to articulate who you are, what services you provide, and to whom you provide those services. And if you cannot articulate that, then you are not going to be able to communicate your value. So definitely make sure that you know how to communicate your value. And then say no when needed. Not every opportunity or request aligns with your vision, and that's okay. You just have to know that, and you have to prepare yourself to say no. And you have to be okay with saying no. No is not a bad thing. No is actually a good thing because it's going to save you time as well as those that you serve time. So I talked about boundaries. What are the benefits of setting boundaries? When you're intentional about access, something amazing happens. You attract clients, opportunities, and collaborations that align with your goals and your values. You maintain your energy. You are not going to be burned out, and you're going to be so focused. And most importantly, you protect the value that you bring to the table. This entire episode is about value. So if you don't walk away with anything else, I want you to walk away with protecting your value. I worked so hard to build my business, and literally in 30 to 45 days, I could have ruined it. I could have ruined it. And that bothers me. That bothers me because I had great intentions, but it wasn't business smart. It wasn't a wise business decision. And so I just had to step back. I had to step back and reassess. And moving forward, I will no longer be accessible. I will no longer be accessible. Because I work too hard on my business and I just can't do it. And so when you're building a business or a brand, it's all about relationships, but not every relationship deserves, unlimited access. And so you have to protect your value. And there's nothing selfish about it. It's essential. When you prioritize your time and your expertise, you not only elevate your brand, but you also create a space to serve your audience more effectively. And I'm just thankful that my audience did not suffer. I am so thankful that those clients that I've been working with for years, those people that I am building a relationship with, a rapport with, I am so glad that they did not suffer because of my lapse in judgment. And so I have just listened the last couple of months. I've learned so much. And I made a rookie mistake. I've been in entrepreneurship for many, many years. I've been a coach for many, many years, but I just had a lapse in judgment. And it could have cost a lot. And I'm so glad that it didn't cost. The only thing it cost was my time. But it could have cost a lot. And I know people say that time is so important and you can't get time back. But, I would rather sacrifice a few hours of time than sacrifice the reputation that I built for my brand. And so if this takes sacrificing a few hours of time, then I'm okay with it. I am completely okay with it. And so I just want you to take a moment to reflect. Are you giving access to the right people? Are there boundaries that you need to strengthen? Remember, access is a privilege. And it's time that we all, started just really treating it that way. We have to treat it that way. And so I hope that you can learn from, my experience. And I hope that you can walk away, just really doing some self-reflection and just look at your business, look at your business structure and look at who has access to you and how much access do they have. Do you need to limit access to certain people? How do you protect your value in your business or your personal life? So I really want to hear your thoughts on this. I want you guys to really, leave me some feedback. Tell me, what are your thoughts about this? This can be a controversial topic because when you start talking about, giving access to people that would normally not have access to you, people can start thinking, well, you think you're better than people, or you think that, you are whatever. And that is essentially not the case. Every business has a target audience. Every business plan has a particular group of individuals that they're trying to attract. And those particular individuals have psychological behaviors that align with that business. And so it's just all about business. It's nothing to do with, not wanting to work with a certain group of people or anything of that nature. It's just all about making sure that the services that you provide are in align with the target audience. And because I open myself up to so many people, I lost focus on my target audience. And that's why it did not work. Now, had I opened myself up and all of these people were within my target audience, then I would have got a great return on investment. But because they did not meet all of the psychological behaviors that my target audience typically possess, it turned out bad for me. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, if you are a coach, a leader, whatever role you play, I just want you to always process things before you dive into it. If you're trying to build communities on these different social media platforms, just make sure that you stay true to the principles and the values that you have for your brand. Make sure that you don't compromise your brand and the hard work and effort that you have put into building your brand to grow a new community. And so I hope, that you don't have to experience this. I hope that you learn from my mistakes. And I just hope that you really understand the time and effort that you have put into your brand. It is so worth you guarding it. It is so worth you protecting it. And it is so worth you taking more steps to just make sure that the people that you work with, the people that you agree to work with, that they are not going to devalue your brand and that they are not going to devalue your services. And so I've learned my lesson. We are not even 2 months into 2025, and I have already learned my business lesson for the year. I can assure you that I will not have another lapse in judgment in 2025. So I want you to share your thoughts. Share your thoughts. Let me know, what do you feel about this particular conversation. Let me know if you ever had a lapse in judgment as it relates to access. Have you ever been too accessible to your clients, to your customers? Let me know. Again, this has been Dr. Brooks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you join me for next week's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to rate this episode and share it with your family and friends.